Welcome everybody. I'm really hoping that this class, it's something that we've been doing for years. Ellen and Joanne have been doing this for a long time with me, and Barbara as well, Anita. So it's a class that as we go through every week, we add different techniques and suggestions. And it's really a guideline for you to decide which techniques work for you. And you'll know that they are really working when they work beyond this class. So often what will happen is we'll go to a yoga class, or we'll go to a mindfulness class or Tai Chi, and we feel wonderful during the class, not always, but most of the time, we feel really great. And then we find that it's not long before whatever we were feeling before we came in, if there's anything that was involved with fear or anxiety or anger or impatience, any of the negative things, aspects of our personalities, then it's interesting to watch how long the peace or the quiet or the relaxation part of whatever we were doing, how long it lasts. And so the idea with the mindfulness classes is to give us tools to keep noticing during the day, every day, to keep noticing during the day when we are out of that mindfulness space, when we're no longer paying attention to how we feel and what we're thinking, and when we're drawn automatically into habits and behavior patterns that don't make us feel good. And this doesn't mean that we're bad. If this happens, it's normal. It's human nature. Our personalities, our belief systems, our culture, our social influences, whether we want them or not, right? So social influences are the company that we keep, but they're also the company that we don't want to keep. So can be television or people that we don't agree with. So we're affected by all of those things, and all of those external influences can trigger in us emotions that don't feel good. So they can make us feel anxious. They can make us feel angry, impatient, sad. The good news is that the external things can also make us feel happy, right? So many external things, you're talking about the golf carts earlier, many external things make us feel happy as well. So that's good. Now, what we want to use the mindfulness for is not to have to be dependent on the external things to keep us happy. And we know what it's like. If we have temporary happiness around something makes us feel good, then if it doesn't last, because it doesn't, nothing stays forever, the good things and the bad things. If it doesn't last, then we look for the next way to, and it's not us personally looking for it, it's the brain. Is the brain wired in that way to rather seek out things that give us pleasure, or at a minimum, seek out things that push away things that create pain or fear or anxiety or despair or any of those negative things. So the brain is wired to do exactly that. Oh, I'll have more of that because it's nice. And then more of that because it's nice could be in the form of food, in the form of a glass of wine, or sometimes medication or shopping or social media or checking our phones all the time in case there's emails for us or text messages. So in other words, another distraction, let me take that distraction, whatever it is, because that's going to make me feel good. And 9 times out of 10, it does make us feel good, temporarily, because it's external. And so when we use the mindfulness techniques outside of a mindfulness class, then we start to train our brains to notice when we're relying on the external to make the internal happy. I'm not saying that any of those things are bad. It's fine and great to enjoy the external, to have a life that has external happiness in it. The key to that happiness, well, several things, but 2 of the important things are when we are in those periods of happiness, whether they're for a few seconds or a few years, you have a really wonderful stage of your life where there's great happiness and joy, then we truly are mindfully aware of that happiness while we're experiencing it. So not to be fearful of it disappearing, because we know things change, they go in cycles, things can't be 100% beautiful all the time, but rather mindfully choosing to notice, I'm feeling great joy in this moment. Let me really feel what that is like. Or I'm feeling great peace in this moment. Let me, first of all, notice that I feel that positive emotion or sensation, and label it and immerse in it and feel in it. Wow, how does it feel to be happy? Or how does it feel to be calm or to be peaceful? So that would be one of the things to do, that when we're in that state of where external is making us happy, then to at least notice it. Wow, I feel great at the moment. Let me enjoy that. And then the second thing is to also acknowledge that it's a temporary state. And that acknowledgement doesn't come with fear, because we can't have everything the way we want it all the time. We just can't, right? We can do some things, we can control some things about the way that we live and the things that we have and the things that we do, but ultimately we are not in control. And the last few weeks have really demonstrated that to us. We're in control of maybe buying masks or buying toilet paper or deciding how to social distance. There are certain things that we can control that can affect an outcome, absolutely. But we are not in control most of the time of what happens to us. And so this is where the mindfulness skills and techniques and tools help us be with what is. And you're already doing that, kind of because we're forced to. We just have to be with what is, right? Because we know what the consequences are if we don't. But we're also forced to do our social distancing, or forced to adjust our lifestyles and be with what is. Now it's up to us to decide how to be with what is. So we can be with what is in a state of despair or anger or denial or refusing, excuse me. And we can also, and by the way, those are all normal human reactions. So this is not meant to make us feel bad about anything, but the mindfulness lets us notice how we are approaching life and how we are reacting to life happening to us. And therein lies the key of mindfulness. So mindfulness is first becoming aware of the present moment, so that we can be in the present moment without needing to change it. Just simply experiencing it as it is, without needing to change it and without any expectations of how it should be. And we don't necessarily live our entire lives like that, just letting everything happen to us without any expectation. That's not what mindfulness is either. Absolutely, we want to have our opinions, we want to have our desires of how we would like to live our lives, our motivations, our inspirations, how we want to be in this life. And at the same time, it's like there's an undercurrent of mindfulness that guides all of that, that steers all of that. When we don't pause to check in with where the mind is and how it's thinking and how it reacts to life automatically, then we don't understand ourselves. And without understanding the way our minds work and why they work that way, we're unable to tap into those inner resources that can see us through any situation, even when the external is not so nice, or when the external that we usually enjoy has been taken away from us for whatever reason. Could be good health, could be finances, could be a relationship. So if you think of anything that you have lost in your life, if there wasn't a way to avoid it, well, there couldn't have been, otherwise perhaps you would have avoided it, right? Then what were the things that saw you through that? And what was the inner resource that you drew on to get through a difficult situation? And really, that's the entire cycle of life. We know that life keeps going through various stages through the whole kaleidoscope of happy and joyful, as well as pain or anxiety or anger. And these tools of mindfulness, of meditation, of the yoga philosophies, they help us check during the day at any time and at night. They check during our daily lifestyle. They help us check in with where is my mind and where does it go when things happen? How do I react to things when they happen to me? So that's the first step. Awareness of the mind, where it is, where it's going. Awareness of the external condition, or even sometimes the internal condition could just be your own thought processes that happen spontaneously, but a lot of the time it's external triggers. Noticing what the external event was that created the thought response and the emotional response, and often the physical response, right? Sometimes tight stomach or tight jaw or anxious in the shoulders and the neck. If we're not even aware that we're doing that, then we can't take the next step, which is to then bring in the tools that allow us to see things with more equanimity, with more balance, with more acceptance, with more grace. So mindfulness isn't about relaxing. Meditation isn't about relaxing. You may land up relaxing the mind temporarily, and you may not. Sometimes meditations are actually annoying. You know, they can just be, they can be boring, they can bring more anxiety, they can seem pointless. And that doesn't matter, because that's the brain, again, the human brain responding to that. They are working, the meditations are working at another level, at levels that have been researched in the chemicals of the brain and the positive effects on the nervous system. But while we're in while we're in that meditation, if we experience, or we're doing any form of relaxation, it could be a massage at the spa, it could be you know, something that is like a mindfulness technique, like doing these classes today, relaxing, getting the brain to a place that's more relaxed. It doesn't serve us well if it only happens when it's in an environment that is perfect for mindfulness. So I hope that makes sense. It's easier for us to come together in a group, to be led through community in a class, to feel that these are good things, to feel that you're in a community of people practicing mindfulness, of meditating, of being more conscious and aware. On top of that, here's the however bit, we also need to use that mindfulness awareness away from this kind of situation, away from a classroom environment, because then you're giving it wings, you're giving it life to come with you outside of the meditation, and you're taking it with you into your everyday life. So if you find that every time you do a meditation class or a yoga class or a mindfulness class, you generally feel great, and then within 10 minutes or 10 hours, whatever it was that wasn't present during that blissful state suddenly comes back, then the homework, if you like, is to just begin to notice that. That's the first step. Go, wow, that stuff has come back. And how does it make me feel? And so we put on a little white laboratory coat, a little white lab coat, like we are a scientist with a clipboard. And I've used that analogy often. And it might be a useful little image for you to have as we do these techniques. Imagine that you have a clipboard and a pen, and you're in your little scientist coat, and you are observing your mind. The subject is your mind. And so something happens, something external happens. We take something positive, for example, seeing the golf carts outside. Notice your reaction to something external like that. And you notice, oh, I've noticed the golf carts. Oh, makes me smile. How does it make me feel? Makes me feel hopeful. Makes me feel happy. Makes me feel like maybe things will be different. Maybe we're going back to something normal. And so you're just observing whatever an external thing is. The mind is constantly taking thousands and thousands of external events that we're not even aware of at one level. It's taking them in all the time, and it's processing them, and it's putting them in certain places in the brain, or doing things with thoughts that need to be done with them, that if they don't need to be dealt with, we'll just put them over there, or that needs to have an opinion because we need to stop that, or that needs to have an opinion because we need more of that. So the brain is constantly applying logic and analysis to whatever is happening to us. The mindfulness part begins when, and not all day, that can be a little bit too much to force yourself to be mindful all day, versus invite yourself to curiously bring in a mindfulness moment once a day, twice a day, maybe 3 times a day, until it becomes a habit that you're aware without forcing observation. We begin to become aware of, oh gosh, there's my mind reacting to that particular external event, creating a specific internal reaction, an internal emotion, or an internal physical reaction of tightening the body, or of relaxing the body, of smiling, depending on whether this is an event that we want or we don't want. So the positive example, gone over that. You see something that makes you feel happy, and you pause and you notice it, and you understand, wow, that happened, and this is my response. So you've got your little lab coat on, noticed the golf carts, how did I feel, made me feel happy, and that's it. You make any other observations and you put the clipboard away, and you don't give yourself a mark out of 10, right? So part of the mindfulness is also to do the observing with curiosity and non-judgment. So this isn't about trying to force us into better behavior because we react in certain ways. It's rather about noticing how we react, understanding why we react in that way, and then naturally choosing when to react differently, because we want to feel the reward of feeling good about life. So we did the positive example. Now here comes a negative example. So say you're taking a walk, and you're wearing your mask, and you're keeping your distance, and then somebody in the neighborhood is walking without a mask, and they're not keeping their distance, and they come right past you, and heaven forbid, maybe they're coughing or something like that. So an external event that you do not want, right? And so the brain is going into these reaction modes because it's a survival mechanism. This is thousands of years old in our DNA. The brain is meant to assess what's going on, decide it will have none of that because that might be dangerous, or it will have lots of that because that feels good. So that's the brain's job, is to keep doing that. Push away that, don't want it, it's dangerous, or I just don't like it. Have more of that, please, that's really nice. So as a negative event happens, especially when it's out of your control, right? So we could say something to the person, and then they could just ignore us and still carry on living their life the way that they want to live it. And so again, clipboard is out, the scientist white coat is on, and then you just notice external event, somebody doing something that I perceived as dangerous or incorrect or not what I want to do. And how did that make me feel? It made me feel angry or fearful or impatient, or whatever the emotions are. And was there a physical response as well? And then you just check in, you go, wow, yes, I'm suddenly hunched my shoulders, or oh, my stomach's really tight, or I'm gripping my fists, or I have all tension in my jaw. And this is just for a few seconds. You just notice what's happened. We notice whether it's positive or negative. We notice the response that we have to what is happening, and we notice it in non-judgment. Just observe. So that this observing is with a sense of curiosity, not with a sense of trying to fix or trying to change. All of that can come later. In that moment of mindfulness, it's simply just noticing what is already there, or noticing what has just happened, noticing how we respond to what has just happened, so that over time we become more mindful about how we respond, and we naturally choose, sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing it, or we naturally choose deliberately the actions or words that will lead to a better outcome. And better comes in various disguises. So better isn't always what we think it is instantly. So sometimes better is a broader concept. What might not appear a fantastic result of something in the beginning, sometimes we can look back and go, yeah, that was actually a better decision. It didn't seem like it at the time, but it created a better result in general for everybody. So sometimes better is not what the individual self wants, because that's not always possible for the individual self, for all the many millions of people who live on our planet, for each individual self to get exactly what they want in that moment. It's just not possible. So sometimes better is just better for the current situation, for the greatest good of all. And those are deeper ways to bring the mindfulness with us into how we choose to behave. And the magic behind all of that, because there is effort in doing that, and the reward is that there is more inner peace. And that inner peace is less reliant on external fixes, external pleasures, external things that make us feel better. We can still enjoy those, absolutely. But we're no longer looking for those to fix us and to make us feel good. That we can enjoy them, we can feel good while we're doing them, whatever those external pleasures are. And then when they are not there, because we know times in our lives when the things that we love are just not there, there is always a place that has an inner peace and an inner quiet to it. And the more we use the mindfulness tools, the more we can draw on that to still deal with what is happening around us in a place of non-judgment, in a place of equanimity, and in a place, I always add, in a place of no expectations for it to be anything other than what it is in the current moment, knowing that it will change. So we can chat a little bit more about that at the end. In the classroom environment, we would normally be opening the discussion up. It wouldn't just be me talking at you. But I wanted to, I think it's important for us to understand that this mindfulness, these techniques, this mindfulness system, if you like, well researched, ancient techniques, but with modern research, they become very, very useful when they are just part of our daily lives. They don't make problems go away, but they give us the grace, and they give us the patience, and they give us the ease with which to deal with the things that we don't necessarily want to happen. A place of more ease for the greatest good of all. And that's my wish for these classes for you. So let's move a little bit, as we want to make sure that before we do our meditation, that we can move a bit in the physical body. This class is meant to be 10:15 to 11. So what we will do is we will take a 10:30 until, I'm just looking at the clock, 11:15. If anybody needs to leave earlier, then what I would do, because we're going to do movement now, and then a guided meditation. What I would do is, if you need to leave it earlier, like at 11 o'clock, then please just take away with you that aspect of taking the mindfulness into your day ahead. Imagining yourself with your little laboratory coat and being aware of maybe once today, maybe more than once, where the mind is in reaction to life happening. Then we are able to see that life happens for us and not to us. So sitting a little bit away from your seat so that you've got a little bit of space behind you, but you still feel firmly planted on the seat. Sit with a nice long spine. I like to sit with the feet. This is if you're in a chair. If you're sitting on the floor, you can have your legs crossed. If you're sitting in a chair, I like to sit with the feet, the ankles in line with the knees in line with the hips. And then you can feel the feet are firmly planted into the earth. And then on an inhale, lift the arms up and reach up and feel how that creates this lovely length through the body. And as you exhale, if you have space to bring your arms out to your sides, bring them out to your sides. If not, just bring them forward. You just want to move through the shoulders. So inhale, lift the arms up. And as you exhale, bring them down to your sides. Or you can bring them down in front of you. And then we reverse that. So we inhale the arms out and up. Bring the palms together and exhale them down to the heart. Inhale the arms up, one long inhale. The breathing is in and out of the nose if that's comfortable. And exhale the arms down, bringing some release for the shoulders. Inhale the arms out and up, or forward and up if you don't have space, palms together. Exhale the hands to the heart. Now I invite you to do that in your own time. And maybe with the eyes closed, because with the eyes closed, you're less distracted by the external as we begin a journey more towards inner mindfulness. So as you're inhaling, it's your breath that leads the movement. So see if you can make the breath happen a millisecond before the movement happens. And when you're ready to exhale, then the movement joins in with the breath. Taking your time. If you're finding a movement that works for you, it doesn't have to be exactly what I'm doing. I'm just suggesting a pattern for the mind to follow. Then stay with one movement, one sequence. The arms are reaching up, hands above the head, and then the hands come to the heart space. And then the arms reach up again, hands above the head, and the arms come down towards your sides. And just continue a repetition like that, or one that's working for you. Think with the breathing. Notice how it's easy to automatically begin to move the arms. Be mindful, bring your awareness to the breath happening first, and then the movement joins in. 3 more like that in your own time. 3 more cycles. Okay, if you lose count, perhaps do 1 more full cycle. There's no rush. Continue with your 3 sequences. If you've already finished, that's fine. You just release your hands to your lap. The eyes remain closed. Have the palms facing upward, somewhere on your lap or your legs. Eyes are closed. Spine is nice and long. One of the mindfulness techniques is to simply notice the physical body, because it's a tangible, easy thing. So feel the feet. Feel the soles of the feet, whether you're wearing shoes or not. Feel whatever is beneath the feet, whatever is touching the feet. It might be the floor. Take your awareness to the contact points between your feet and whatever is supporting them. Spine stays nice and long. And notice when your mind drifts away from just sensing the feet. And that's when the little you, that little image of you in your laboratory coat, your white scientist coat, that's when you pop that into your head and you go, oh, I was no longer thinking about the feet and the contact points of the feet between whatever's supporting them. I was thinking of something else interesting. This is what I was thinking of. Was there an emotion associated with it? There might not be, it might just be a random thought. But you observe, oh, thinking. And gently draw your focus back to just sensing the bottom of the feet. Again and again, watch the mind jumping somewhere else. Just feel the bottom of the feet again and again. Draw the mind back to sensing the bottom of the feet. You can release the awareness of the bottom of the feet. Feel the hands placed on your legs or your lap. Slowly begin to inhale and lift the arms up again as if you're reaching up in the morning, taking a nice big morning stretch. Reach up, inhale, lovely big breath. And then exhale and relax the arms down. And if you want, you can open your eyes to bring a bit of release to the shoulders now. So taking the hands and tapping the hands on the shoulders, just do some nice circles with the elbows. You can practice mindfulness at any moment, especially when something repetitive is happening. So here you're using the mindfulness to stay in the present moment. So move the arms in the opposite circle, the present moment of feeling your arms moving, feeling the shape that you're making, feeling the muscles that are involved, feeling the tension that might be there. Noticing when the mind pops somewhere else, it's normal. Bring it back to doing that focus point of what the body is doing. Release the hands. Nice big inhale, lift up. And as you exhale, begin to turn to your right. Bring the left arm across the body. So you're gently pulling against your leg. Bring the other arm, the right arm, behind you, and you can hold anywhere on your chair or your seat or whatever you're sitting on. Maybe it's behind you. And you take a twist and you look behind you over your right shoulder. The feet stay centered, so the knees don't twist with you. The knees keep facing forward. You feel a nice long spine. Soften the tummy. Let the belly be quite relaxed. Long spine, soft belly, easy twist. As if somebody were drawing you up through the very top of your head, and a beautiful golden cord attached to the top of the head. Next inhale, lift up out of your twist, and exhale to the other side. The knees stay facing forward. The head is turned gently to the left, so you get a release for your neck. Tummy is soft. The breath is still flowing. Maybe it's not as accessible because we're in a twist, but you're still mindfully breathing. Next, inhale, lift the arms all the way up, and exhale and release the hands down. Now you can move back a little bit in your chair so that we can get a little bit of movement in the lower part of the body. So take your right leg out and do some easy circles in both directions. If you're sitting on the floor, you can simply bring your leg in towards you and make those circles. So whatever's easiest, if you're sitting on the floor. Circles in both directions. And then bring the right leg in towards you and pull the leg in so that you feel a nice release in the lower back. Push down through the ball of the foot, spread the toes, the foot is active. Inhale, relax the leg away from you. Let the foot hang and dangle. As you exhale, pull in. Inhale, relax away from you. As you exhale, pull in. One more. Inhale, relax. And exhale. Release that leg. Let's do the other side. So little circles with the left leg. Feel in both directions. Feel what's happening, all the little tiny bones in the foot. Feel the movement, feel the muscles. And then bring that left leg in towards you. Spread the toes, push down through the ball of the foot. Gently draw the knee in towards you. This is a wonderful yoga pose or relaxation pose to do in lying in your bed in the morning or at night if you want to ease your back. Literally bringing the knees into the chest one at a time. As you inhale, relax the leg away. The foot just kind of hangs, dangles. As you exhale, pull in. The foot is engaged. Push down through the ball of the foot. Again, inhale, relax. Exhale. Two more. Inhale, relax. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, relax. Exhale. Great. And then release the leg. Do some easy circles around your hips now. So these little movements that we do in our practice, they have a practical way of releasing tension, especially as we want to sit mindfully for the mindfulness meditation part of it. If we're not comfortable, it's going to be difficult to sit in stillness. And so we are practically moving the body to just give it a bit of release from some of the tension we can hold in the muscles. Now pause, and whichever direction you were going in, go in the opposite direction. The other reason that we do these physical movements is to give the mind a focus point of right here, right now. We are bombarded more so in the last 5 years than ever in civilization with constant messages, especially if you use technology, constant stimulus to the brain, constant information. When we just do something simple like making a circle around the hips and we bring our mind again and again to this current moment, it becomes a very peaceful place for the brain, for the nervous system, to not constantly be drawn into the future or the past, to places that we can't change or control. Just simply being in the present moment with what is. Feel the body. Come up to sitting upright, feet firmly planted. Bring your right arm out to the side. If you don't have space by your side, and you can just bring it straight up in front of you. Otherwise, bring the right arm out and lift up. Feel that you're lifting up out of the ribs, creating nice space in the body. And then the other hand is supporting you somewhere. You're either pressing down on whatever you're sitting on or you're holding the chair. And as you lift up out of the ribs, reach over to the left. And reach as if you're trying to touch the wall, not the floor. So keeping the side of the body, the left side of the body, as long as possible as well. And breathe deeply into the ribs, the spaces you've made. Feel the shape you're making. Feel the deeper breath. Push down through both feet. And as if somebody were holding your fingertips and gently drawing you up on a deep inhale, lift up and out of that side stretch, and exhale and release your arm. Let's do the other side. Inhale the left arm up, and as you exhale, reach towards the right. Push down through both feet. The breathing is smooth and even. Awareness of all the space, especially down the left side, but also trying to make space along the right side. Pressing down through the feet, inhale, lift up through that top arm, and exhale and release. Okay, good. So we've kind of moved the back and we've moved the legs. You can take the knees from side to side. Released a little bit of tension, got a little bit of circulation going. And now you're going to come to a comfortable seated position for our mindfulness. If you're sitting on the floor, sit comfortably, spine nice and long, legs might be crossed. If you're sitting on a chair, I would recommend that the feet and the ankles are in line with the hip bones. And then you can place your hands, if you wish, one hand on top of the other in your lap, with the thumb tips touching. If you have a different position you like to use with the hands, it's called a mudra in the meditation language. If you have a different position you'd like to use with your hands, then please do that, whatever works for your meditation. And close your eyes. And sense the body. Sense your body, the shape of how you're sitting. And any sensations that you may feel in the body. You take a little journey of awareness through the body. Awareness of the breath. Take a nice inhale through the nose, a long inhale, deep inhale. Hold the breath at the top with ease, and then open the mouth and whisper sigh the breath out, like a sigh of relief. Take 2 more breaths like that. You can do it in your own time, or you may be at the same pace. 2 more breaths. Slow inhale. There's a gentle pause at the top. And when you're ready, whisper sigh all the way out. 1 more. Taking your time and also not forcing it. Once you've done your 3 breaths like that, gently close the mouth, let the teeth be separated, the lips just gently touching. Relax the jaws. Begin to sense each part of the physical body through this journey of awareness. The sensing is nothing more than awareness of each part of the body when you hear it mentioned. There's no need to move the body or try and make it relax or anything like that. It's a point of mindfulness focus to keep you in the present moment, soothing for the mind. And also training the mind to keep coming again and again to a place of awareness, of observing. So again, as if you were putting on that little white laboratory coat, little scientist of your own mind and your own body, a scientist that is kind, curious, non-judgmental rather, non-judging. So taking your awareness to your feet. You don't have to move them, not doing anything with the feet, just knowing where your feet are and sensing your feet. You might sense the clothing if you're wearing socks or shoes. You might sense the bare feet, whatever they're touching, awareness of the feet. Awareness of the knees. And so this awareness is knowing where the knees are and then also just checking in. Is there any sensation? Is there any sense of temperature? And there may be nothing there apart from the knees, which is perfect as well. We're not looking to create anything. We're noticing what might be there with curiosity. Is there warmth? Is there a pain? Is there an awareness of your knees in this moment? Awareness of the hips, the hip sockets, and around the lower back. Just feeling, sensing, awareness. Notice if your mind goes somewhere else, and there begins the beginning of mindfulness. Noticing that your mind has gone somewhere else. Second step, being non-judgmental, that it has drifted away. Third step, bring it back to where you are. Just sensing the hips, the hip joints, and taking your awareness up to the shoulders, the shoulder joints. Just observing with an easy curiosity. There are my shoulders. I'm sensing them. This is how they feel, or the awareness of that part of the body. Mind goes somewhere else. Mindfulness catches it, goes, oh, there it is. It's gone somewhere else. That's okay. What was it thinking? Was there an emotion attached to those thoughts? Where is my focus again? Oh yes, the shoulders, the elbows. Sense your elbows. The hands, sense the hands. Let your awareness now land on the top of the head. So sense the very crown of your head, whatever is there. May simply be an awareness of, yeah, I know where the top of my head is. I'm placing my focus on that right now. And slowly bringing the awareness down to the center of the chest, also known as the heart center, spiritual center. And that place within that has the key to an inner quiet. A place of equanimity, a place of grace, no matter what the external is. And so see if you can begin to observe or experience both those things. Experiencing the quiet of the body being still, the quiet of a more peaceful place deep within the heart center. Perhaps an awareness of the breath gently rising and falling at the center of the chest without making anything happen. And also awareness of any thoughts that draw you away from simply resting your awareness on the mind, resting on the heart center. Just for a little while on your own. Your focus is a soft focus, a non-striving focus. The focus is on resting on the center of the chest, quietness of the body, the easy rhythm of the breathing, that inner quiet. And also noticing, with complete acceptance, when your mind goes elsewhere. With hearing the sounds around you, eyes are still closed, letting go of your awareness of that heart space, the center of the chest, whatever was there. Being aware of your environment outside, being aware of it without needing to be drawn into it, without needing to fix it or change it. Being aware of the day that lies ahead. And feel your body, feel the stillness that you've created. And begin to move gently through the body. So if you can keep your eyes closed, then do that to prolong that more inner quiet as you just lift your arms above your head and you take an easy stretch with the arms. You can release the hands, maybe roll out the shoulders, waking up the body, easy circles. Maybe take the knees from side to side, let the feet be from side to side as well. Coming back into your physical body and feeling yourself present in this moment in your physical body. Eyes are still closed. You can rub your palms together to create some warmth. And without touching your face, because you may be touching other things, with that lovely warmth in the palm of the hand, cup the hands close to your eyes. Bring them so close they're not touching, but they're cupping over the eyes and over the cheekbones so that you're aware that there's a heat between your face and your hands. And there's also a little bit of less light. The hands cup around the eyes. And then open your eyes, letting in more light. Release your hands. Bring the palms together if you wish. I like to close the practice with an Om for various reasons. One of them is a practical way to breathe, also to bring the body and mind back to one place. So if you'd like to join in, nice inhale. Thank you for coming today to explore mindfulness. May your day ahead be filled with many moments of truly living in the present moment, with grace and with equanimity. Namaste. Thank you for coming. I'm so happy that we're able to do this in a Zoom environment. You're welcome to unmute yourself if you wish. You're also welcome to just sit and enjoy, experience whatever your experience was.